Hello guys, this is a sewing video for this blouse. So if you've not yet watched how we draft and cut this blouse, you can go to my previous video on my channel and watch it. So you get your pin and you pierce it through this place to know where you stop sewing your bust that. Mark it down. Also mark it on your lining. So we're going to sew our that. All those points you mark, you're going to hold them together like this. This is the mark here, here, and here. So you hold them down. So on the waistline, you come out by 0.75. That's the dart allowance we used. So if you know you cannot gauge from here to here, you just use your ruler or your tip rule to guide you. You see it? You do the same thing to this place. You sew on the line you marked. So after sewing this part, this is how it looks. You will sew the other part. So you're done sewing the front dart. You can sew the bust dart now. See, the place is going to stop. These are the edges we marked and notched. So just hold this place like this. You can decide to sew it from here like this. Then you mark, you connect it. So this one, oh, the bust dart. You see, so this is where your bust is going to rest inside. And sew the other parts. So I'll repeat the same process for my lining. So I'm done sewing the lining, the dart on the lining. So the next thing to do is to sew the neckline of the front. Place it like this. Use your pins to hold them down. So you sew on 1/2 inch. So you come here and notch. You cut it, but don't cut your seam lines. You're cutting this to ease any tension on the neck. So after notching like this, you come and top stitch. Top stitch it. So we are top stitching to the lining. You push this to this lining and run a stitch on it. So now we are done top stitching. So you come over here and trim off these allowances. That you give it a nice press. You iron all these things down. I'm using 1/2 inch to turn it down. So I'll sew the size 2 by 1/2 inch. I'm going to be doing the same for the back. Sew in our dart. So these are dart points. Just going to hold it like this. Then you come to the waistline. You go in by 1/2 inch. Connect to draw your dart leg. So I'm going to repeat this on the lining. So I've sewn the dart on the lining. So the next thing to do is to turn the neckline. Right side facing right side. And you sew with 1/2 inch sewing allowance. So because I'm going to be putting my zipper here, I'm going to be coming in by this place. Let's say 1 inch. Our zipper allowance is 0.75. So I'll be starting from 1 inch and sew by our 1/2 inch sewing allowance. Doing this, you notch and you top stitch. The top stitching should be at least less than 0.25. So I stopped where I started. So now I want to fix this zip on this part of the back. So to do that, you start from the down because this zip is detachable zip. So it's this kind of zip you will use for this kind of blouse, or you can use the other one. Maybe just you sew the hem of your blouse. That means you don't want to be opening the zip totally. So you can just sew this a bit here, then you start sewing, you put your zip. But I want to be detaching my zip. So I'll start from this place. You know our sewing allowance for the down is 1/2 inch sewing allowance. So you come up from that place by at least like 0.6 so that there'll be a little bit space before your hemming sewing allowance. And our sewing allowance for the zip is 0.75. So your zipper must reach 0.75. So you can now pin at that point. You pin, you keep on pinning with your allowance that you gave. So this is beginner friendly. There's no how you will not understand. So if you have watched to this point, do well to hit the subscribe button, turn on your bell notification to be notified of our new videos we'll be posting. Like, comment, and also share this video so others can watch it. I've pinned them down. So when you sew it, it will look like this. So we're going to be sewing the zipper first before we turn our lining. So it will be easy for us to turn out. Because if you sew your lining now without putting your zipper, it will be a bit technical. So I love sewing down my zipper to my fabric first before I sew in the main allowance I gave, just to hold down the zipper to your fabric to be easier that way. If you don't have the zipper foot, go and buy it. So this is it. You buy it. So to fix it, you just unscrew this place with your screwdriver. You remove it and you place it Then you screw it back tightly. And to fix the zip, I love opening it. You have to open it so that you will get you get what you want. You open it up, then you sew. You sew the neckline, the half inch we give for the neck. So you sew it up over the zip so that it will close there. After doing this, it's now time for us to sew this zipper to its lining. So it's like this. Just turn it over so it can be seen where you are sewing. Because if you sew from here, it might not be seen where you sewed before. You just turn it over. So you won't sew it on the same line you sewed on your fabric, on your main fabric. You give space. So after doing this, you turn the sides. So we use 0.25 for the front. You also use 0.25 for this point. So now we can now turn the down. That is our hemline with our half inch we gave. Going to turn it out from your armhole. Iron it down very well. So I'm going to repeat the same process on the other one. So this is the front. I've gone ahead to give it a good press. You can see even without padding it is standing. Bring one of your back. You want to join the shoulders together. Open this up like this. Open this other one like this. Join it together like this. This line facing this line, lining to lining, fabric to fabric. So I'll go ahead to run a stitch. So I've run a stitch on it. So go ahead and give it a nice press here. After ironing it, then you can now do it like this to give you a very neat finish. Like this. So I'll go ahead and do it on the other part. Get your sleeve and fold it like this. I'll sew it up to this point and I'll stop. After doing this, then I'll fold. I'll create a casing for my elastic. We gave 1 inch folding allowance here, so I'm just going to fold in 0.25 first, then fold in the remaining just like this to complete our 1 inch. So we're using half-inch elastic band for this. So I'll be passing it in. So I'll fix this one to my blouse. Join the center to the center of your shoulder line, and pin down, because this is going to have a pleat. So I'll just start this one from here. I'll pin this down to this place because it's having a pleat. But if it's not having a pleat, I always sew from my shoulder to the other end and my shoulder to the other end. But because this is going to be having a pleat, I can do it this way so that I can centralize where my pleat is going to be sitting on. And again, because I want to give this pleat, I have to trim this off a bit, the shoulder, so that the pleat can rest on my shoulder, not falling down. So I'm going to trim this place by 1/2 inch again. I'll mark here 1/2 inch. Then I'll just connect it back to my armhole. I'm not taking the 1/2 inch all through, just on this shoulder part alone, so that the pleat can rest on my shoulder. You see it, just like that. So you keep on sewing with 1/2 inch. I start making my pleats. You see that the pleat is very small because I don't want it to be too big. So you see the puff that is giving this is our sleeve. So I'm going to fix in the other one, and so I'm done sewing the other sleeve. So I just turn it out so that we can shape our blouse. Remember, we gave it 2 inches sewing allowance, and we've used that from that 2 inches to turn the lining. Okay, 23.2 is what is here. So I'm going to be shaping it with 1.6. Yes, 1.6. 1.6 here. You use your armhole, your round armhole, to guide you. The round armhole I'm using is 19 can go, 19.5 can go. Half of it will give me like 9.7 or so. So 9.7 is here. So I'm going to sew from this place now. $35. So you have 1, 2, 3, 1.5. Give it a nice press, and your blouse is ready. You see how neat it is.